we are back, my friends. Well, we've always been here. We've just always been here. You know, hey, we were here during the tween week, right, guys? We were here, you know, between Christmas and New Year's, and then after that, we were doing it. There's a lot of peeps that were still showing up, but you know what, man? Today's the real day. I think that today is the real day that everybody's shaking off the dust of the holidays and going, okay, let's get down to business, my friends. So welcome to the Loan Officer Breakfast Club, brought to you by the Mortgage Marketing Animals. Your host, Frank Ray. We're here with our cohort friends, of course. Christian Simpson's in the house. I won't spotlight you this time, Chris. I'll spare you the spotlight. Gen Z is with us, of course. You know, Krista Russo's in the house. You know, we got Maz with us as well. Here, Steve Kyles, Carl White is here, and Chris Johnstone. We're going to have a great, great day today. A fabulous Monday and the first real week of 2025. Getting this thing launched, my friends. So good morning and welcome, and let's get started here pretty doggone quick. You know,
Hey,
I think...
Go ahead, Carl. We have a first timer.
Ooh, where do we see that?
Leslie.
Where,
Leslie?
Leslie? Where are you at?
Speak up,
You're going to
Leslie.
have to say hello. You're going to have to unmute. Don't worry, we're very kind to first timers. We really are. Very, very sweet.
Most of the time. Almost always.
Almost always. Oh, well,
Leslie.
hey, man. Welcome, Leslie, you know, and welcome to anybody else who might be joining us for the first time. We're glad to have you here. Carl, I think one of the things we do have to address is you did post something on Facebook that said you had a little bit of a run-in with a vehicle. I think everybody that saw that is just concerned that you're okay and everything's fine. And,
Well,
you know, maybe...
I was in my regular hood trying to score, and the cops came. And
All right.
I was on my morning bike ride on the Pinellas Trail, and this was Monday, and it was 6:59 because my watch sent Maria a text at 6:59, which is actually a really cool thing. So that your watch, if you have a hard fall, sends out a notification to whoever's on your emergency contact.
No kidding.
It actually calls 911.
No kidding.
So I have no recollection of any of this. So like the first 2 days are really, really, really fuzzy. I just remember bits and pieces of it. So Monday and Tuesday. And but it was super foggy, and there was a person that was crossing the Pinellas Trail. You know, so there's no cars on this trail, but there's you know, streets that cross over it. Not many actually, but just a handful. And so super foggy, 7 o'clock. And this lady, I didn't see her. I guess she didn't see me. She didn't stop at the stop sign. She wasn't from the area. She's from Tampa. I think she was visiting somebody here or something like that. Didn't know there was, you know, going to be a stop sign there, because it's not a road. It's just a little bicycle trail that crosses it, but there is a stop sign there. Anyway, she didn't stop and hit me broadside. And next thing I remember, I remember bits and pieces next to, I got a little, on my noggin here, I got a pretty good little incision, or not incision, I guess, but you know, cracked my head. The good news is it's in the hairline, so you know, the face
looks
is
kind of
still
nice, actually. Yeah,
the face is still in really good shape here. And so when they sent me to a trauma center, which I think I did in the post. A funny part, so they thought I was an indigent. I have no idea where they got that idea. But everybody,
what?
they indigent, which you know, like like living on the streets.
Oh,
You know, so because emergency room turns nobody down. Like you show up the emergency room, they're gonna take care of you. And boy, they took great care of me, and you know, and it wasn't until I'm checking out that this social worker shows up to sign me up for Medicaid, and I said, well, no, I've got, like, I'm good. Like I got full insurance. I've got supplemental insurance, and you know, I live in a house I even had a car.
They're like, "Are you sure?"
Yeah, the bicycle wasn't my transportation. It was exercise, not transportation. So I have no idea what I told them when they checked me in. So I might have told them something. I don't know. And but anyway, they took great care of me. Um, and then so the only thing, my head's still a little fuzzy. I sometimes have a little bit of trouble remembering, like if I just said something to somebody, like 10 minutes later, I'll tell Kristen, "Hey, what'd you do this weekend?" She goes, "We just talked about that." So
Mm.
a little fuzzy here, but that's much less of that. I think that's almost gone now. And I got 5 broke ribs and some torn muscles and whatnot, but I actually feel pretty darn good. And so it's amazing on how fast the body can recover. And so there's no neurological damage. There's no bleeding inside or anything like that. No, other than ribs, no broken bones or anything like that. So I'm actually in pretty good shape. So I feel great. It's great to be back in the saddle, and we're back up for business. And the good news is we're not up, slinging shingles on our roof. And so
Right.
come to find out, sitting in a chair, talking and typing is not a really hard task for any of us to do. And so anyway, so I just wanted to thank for all the well wishes and everything. But yeah, I do. I feel totally fine. So everything's good to go, and we're open to business. So life is good.
Thank God.
Life is
Praise
good.
the Lord, man. That is such good
Yes,
news,
amen.
man. It
Yeah.
was pretty scary, give you a big cheer for even being here, Carl. I know you're not going to be laughing out loud very often here, right?
No,
Somebody
For-
make him laugh. Make him laugh. Make him laugh.
Yeah, no,
I know it's so
laughing is
tempting.
not good, and I've been staying away from everybody. I want to get the hell out of that hospital for sure, because the last thing you want to do is get a cold, with broke ribs, or if you've ever had them, they're impressive.
Yeah, no,
And
they hurt.
the idea of getting a cold or anything was just devastating. So I do remember one thing. I remember I woke up the day that they released me. I thought I have got to get out of here because I'm going to get sick, and the idea of coughing does not sound good.
Mm-mm.
And so I told the nurse, I said, "I'm going to do 54 laps around this unit here, and you tell the doctor I'm good enough. Get me the hell out of here." She said, "You do 54 laps, you'll get out of here." So that's exactly what I did. I did 54 laps walking around the station there. So they got me out of there.
Wow.
So and the lovely Mrs. White been taking good care of me. My son came and stayed for a couple of days. He's been taking good care of me, and of course, yeah. So life is good, and thanks for all the well wishes and everything. But it's
Wow.
pretty much back to normal. Just don't come visit because I'm trying to stay away from her so I don't get a cold. But life is good. But I will be going to on Friday. For those of you going to the Florida Association, I will be at that Florida Association on Friday. I'm doing a little presentation there. So if you happen to be going there, I'll be looking forward to seeing you there.
So I think we're all just curious too. I mean, one of the most important things, like, how's the bike?
Well, the good news is, and I think I did this on the post. The good news is it wasn't a real car; it was a Honda, right? So it's not like it was a Ford or a Chevrolet or a Mopar, a Road Runner, a Duster. No, it was a Honda. So it was like, whatever, they hit the horns, go meet me, and you're like, whatever.
Yeah.
kind of a nerve car. But anyway, everything's good. But you know what I really want to talk about today, Frank? And I was thinking about. I spent a lot of time thinking here for the last couple of days, and I started thinking. And I know we're going to talk about the daily success plan today, but I think what it really comes down to is we have to have a burning why to make things happen. Like when I'm walking around there, that nurse's station, 54 times with 5 broke ribs, and it hurt like hell, and it did, right? And I'm not looking for pity or anything like that, but I'm telling you, it really, really, really hurt. And I was having trouble catching my breath, but I was going to do it, come hell or high water, because I did not want to get a cold when I've had these broke ribs, right? I want to get the hell out of that hospital. Hospital's a great place to be when you need to be there, but when you don't need to be there, you want to get the hell out of them places. They're bad news, right? I used to work in them, right? So I know this, right? The people are awesome. There's just a lot of sick people there, and you don't want to be there if you don't have to be there. And so the why was, if I have a coughing spell, if I get a cold and have a cough, I don't know what I would do. Like, it'd be terrible. And so in our business, we have to figure out like a big enough why that, well, the data success plan involves a lot of phone work. Well, I've got call reluctance. Well, if somebody was holding my brother Steve, who I love dearly, if somebody was holding him ransom, right? This sounds uncool, but really, like, if somebody's holding him ransom and say, hey, we're going to do bad things to him, we're going to let Kristen and Jen have their way with him. If you don't, we're going to waterboard him if you don't make these calls. All of us here would do that for our best friend, right? Of course we would, right? And so the why has to be bigger than the fear, because it's not that the fear doesn't go, like we all have fear, like myself and Chris Johnson, Frank, you, Steve, Krista. When we make these calls, we all have fear. Krista and Jen, when they make all these calls and talk to all these people, everybody has a fear of rejection, right? I see my brother Devin here, he's a man's man. He has fear, right? Of course he does. But his want is bigger than the fear. And I think that's what we really have to figure out is why do we want it? And it has to be bigger than the obstacle that we're seeing in front of us. And then the data success plan becomes very, very, very easy. Does that make that kind of a rant there? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. It does. Yeah, it absolutely makes sense. And
so I think what we have to figure out is like, what is our why? Like, if my why is, well, I want the upgraded Tesla that has, the super duper fancy wheels, like, whatever. Who the hell cares about that, right?
Right.
But it has to be something. Yeah, it just has to be something more than that. You got to dig deep. You gotta. Well, I'll tell you one of my whys. And so this might be my banged up head talking maybe when I shouldn't. But one of my big whys is, nothing makes me feel better for me than my kids being proud of me. Now, that might sound silly because our kids want us to be proud of them. But as they become adults, see, when we're kids, when our kids are children, mom and dad is Superman. Like, we can be good, bad, ugly, indifferent, and we're still Superman, Superwoman. Like, we're the cat's meow. When they get to be adults, they start to have more rational thoughts and are not as influenced of the emotion about who their parents are as people. And so for me, having my kids look at me with great pride, like, that's my dad. Like, my daughter did this post the other day, said, this is my father, he's my hero. And boy, I just can't tell you what that meant to me. And so I think we have to figure out, like, what is that why? And it can't be, I want to pull. Now, it could be, I want to pull for my kids, I want to pull for my grandkids, right? But you got to figure out, like, what is that thing that you're just really, really looking for that has a burning desire? Maybe we could do a little comments like.
That was exactly where I was going to go, because I think a lot of people struggle with that. They're like, man, what is it? What is it? So maybe if you have your why, you got your why, if you'd be so kind as to put it in the chat for everybody to see, it might be something that inspires the others here who are struggling with really trying to figure out what that gosh darn deep rooted why really is. That would be really,
and I think there's
really
power in making the claim, like, hey, my why is so that, insert in reason, so I can, my, a common one I hear is, hey, I need to take care of my parents, right? My mom and dad's getting old, and, maybe they sacrificed for us kids and weren't able to, have up their own nest egg. So I want to do something with my parents, or I want to help, this person out, or I want to give my wife this, or my husband that. And I think when you make a public declaration, like our good friend Nate here, I don't see Nate here, I'm sure he's here. When Nate picked up the phone and called that center for that helps the trafficking of young ladies coming from the Eastern Bloc of Europe, he called them up and said, hey, I pledged you, I'm going to write you a check for $15,000 in the next 90 days. when he made that public commitment, man, now that's I see Nate down. That's a why, right? That's a burning why. And did Nate do it? Hell yeah, he did it. You know why? Because he made a public commitment and he made a promise to somebody. And it wasn't, I want a new bicycle, or I want a new motorcycle, or I want to get that boat. But most of the time, the why is something for somebody else and not necessarily for self. Other than maybe, hey, my why is I want to keep the house, right? Because if I don't do this, we're going to lose the house. But I think I think I think making these public declarations and putting it out our mind and then putting it on paper, and now the DSP, like when you know why, the how becomes real easy. I just get on a call with Jen or Kristen or anybody that can help me with the data success plan, and in 45 minutes they can spell me out the data success plan. I got it, right? That's the easy part. It's the why do I want to do it is the hard part.
Mm. Well, there's a lot of stuff that's flying through the chat. Ironically, one of the first things you said was help my aging parents, which happened to be like one of the very first things that popped up in the chat.
And as an aging parent, Frank and I can say thank you, right?
Yes, so, please work on that. Yes, you go.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think this is Carl, thanks for this, because this, my intent today was let's remember what we need to do every day, and we're going to touch base on that next year. But
hey, you know what? I gotta. Hey, Tara,
but this is more
Tara,
important.
Are you here, Tara? Tara, are you here?
I am.
Hey, is it okay if I share a little bit of your story and your family, and is it okay if I share a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll give you a why. I love this lady. So I'll give you a why. So Tara calls me up. I don't know. I'm always bad on time. Maybe a year and a half ago, something like that. And her high school son's getting bullied in school. And she calls me up, tears running down her cheek. I have got to get my son out of this situation, right? My husband and I, we'll do anything, whatever it takes. And so they packed their bags, moved across the country where they knew nobody. And she picked up the phone and started calling realtors who had never heard of her. And she had never heard of them. She got a qualified list, started calling the realtors using the data success plan. Right? Why? Because she was concerned about her son's well-being. Like that's a big why, right? And so now, how you doing these days, Tara? What I don't know what. I know it's December and I'm putting you on the spot here, but what December shape up to be?
13 units for 5.6 million.
Well, I'd say that's okay.
You know why she did that? Because her why was bigger than her fear. And she had big fear. Right? She'd send me a text. Hey, I hope this works out okay. I hope this is going to be okay. And she had big fear because she just moved. Like income went down to almost, as with any of us, almost to nothing. And you got to make this work because my family's counting on me, right? My son's, in her case, my son's counting on me. And so when you have that why is big enough, insert in a little bit of overcoming the fear. Because the why is big enough, you got 13 closings for the month, right? Last I looked, 13 closings for the month solves a lot of problems, so good for you, Tara.
Thank you.
I love your story. So inspiring it is. It's so inspiring,
And
so it's just.
I have to share just real quick because you'll love this, Carl, is my daughter shared a picture 2 days after Christmas with me. She actually shared it on social, and Aiden was smiling in that picture, and he hadn't smiled in a couple of years. So it's been life changing.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Good stuff. This is awesome, man. This is so awesome. I'm just trying to find a cool way to segue this, but I think that the cool way to segue this is to say, okay, because I see a lot of people have their why, and it's all in the chat, and if you're struggling with that, hopefully that's helpful. But I would say that if we have the why, right, and the why is bigger than our fear, well, the only thing we need to do now is just apply that. The how, right? Apply it to a plan.
Easy. The how's easy.
Yeah.
Right. The how's easy.
Yeah, it's the how, right? Yeah, we need to apply the why to the how, and so what is the how? So the how is the daily success plan. And Carl, you guys were gone, and I didn't know you were gone because you were run over by a car. But
Yeah, it was a
Steve,
Honda. So
Steve,
it
yes, and Steve was gone too,
yeah.
playing around. So I got to interview a guy, Michael Heitch, right? And I don't know if Michael's here. If you are, raise your digital hand. But this gentleman, Carl, I got to do a podcast with him, so I snatched him before you guys could. It was
Of course you
great.
did.
And
Of course you
and then
did.
of course Chris tried to
Yeah,
weasel his way
Carl's
in there.
bleeding out in the
But
hospital.
yeah, I was
Steve's out.
like, oh,
Steve's out at the
good.
orphanage, helping the kids, and
Great.
Frank's scarfing it up. Yeah.
So yeah, I was able to interview. So Michael, if he's here, I'd love him to say hi. But if not, I'll go ahead and kind of briefly tell you his story. He's only been an originator for 4 months. And he, decided he was going to get, how I always say, the mortgage business always finds us. We don't find the mortgage business. Somehow it finds us. And that's always the truth with all of us here. I think we can agree with that. But it somehow found him, decided to get into it. So he did his research and was trying to figure out, okay, if I'm going to do this, how am I going to do this? And he got pointed to us. He got pointed to Breakfast Club. He got pointed to MMA, started attending Breakfast Club, bought in, was like, okay, I'm going to do this, joined MMA, got on CallStars. And before that, though, remember, he's been in it for 4 months. There was the first month was kind of the let me figure everything out month for him, right? Get acclimated to CallStars, get my list together, that kind of a thing. Interesting thing, Carl, is that he before he started working with Jen on CallStars, and Jen knows him well. He decided I want to make sure I'm well scripted, so he found a partner, and I think through CallStars he found this partner. I can't remember who it is, but he found a partner, and every morning they get on the phone and they practice their scripts before they even get on CallStars, right? So they get on, they practice their scripts, and then they jump on CallStars and they make their calls. And this guy has picked up, a good amount of real estate agents. He's brand new to this. He's never been a loan officer. He doesn't know what he's doing. Like guidelines and things like that are still very elusive to him. He has a partner at the office who's helping him, with the deal structuring and all that, like we advise, at Mortgage Marketing Animals. But he's just out there making the calls. He's got 7 deals in the pipeline right now that he's trying to get close. He's been in the business for, let's call it 3, right? Because the first month was just kind of getting it together, and figuring it all out. But so the daily success plan is if we've got our why that trumps our fear, right? And we just need the how. This plan is the plan to do. I mean, here's a gentleman, never been in the business before. And, and again, we say this all the time. I'm not, of course we do social, we do emails, we do all those other things that are kind of easy to do, right? The easy things, we do those kind of things. But what makes the needle move the most for anyone, and I know anybody here who's having success right now would say that what moves the needle the most is picking up the phone and having a conversation with a qualified agent and saying, can I meet with you? I'd love to chat with you, right? And then after that, what makes the needle move is the follow-up saying, is there anything I can help you with this week? If not, hey, can I count on you for your next one? That is what moves the needle the most.
You know what amazes me though, Frank? You know what amazes me? Is you'll have people naysay that. No, everybody's doing that. Oh, no, that won't. And then we have stories like the gentleman you just had. We have Tara here. I see Sharon Wolford here. She's just, cranking it. Nathan crank. It's story after story after story. It never ceases to amaze me on how many people must have watched the Wright brothers flying above their head while saying, man, I'll never fly. That's not going to happen. You can't do that. While watching the airplane fly up ahead. It's just,
right.
It's just crazy,
Right.
But you know what that is? It's not, I used to think it was a special kind of stupid, but it's not. It's just the fear.
It's the fear.
And not having a big enough of a why.
Right.
And
right.
I love the idea that this guy, what was his first name again?
Michael.
I love this idea of Michael before the concert, doing a sound check, basically is what he's doing. I know Steve, I see Steve shaking his head.
Yeah.
That before you go on stage, you always you always do a sound check and you sing a couple of the songs, making sure, hey, we got
Warm
it,
up.
everybody's in rhythm, something like that.
Yeah.
And if you want to do a sound check and you want to run through the daily success plan, and you want to say, hey, show me how to get more realtors.
Mm-hmm.
How do I get more loans from the people I'm already getting loans from? Those are the easiest referrals ever. How to get more loans from my past database, right? All those people that you pre-approved in the past and they either didn't move or you haven't heard from them. Like, how do you get even more loans from that? That's all the data success plan is. And we'd love to do a sound check with you. And I get Kristen and Jen would be happy to do that with you. They have talked to thousands of loan officers. And when I say thousands, I don't mean tens. I mean thousands.
Yeah.
Like before they ever get on the call with you, it just, if your why is big enough, just schedule an appointment. They're not going to, I mean, look at them. They're the nicest, sweetest people. Sometimes I think people are afraid to get on the phone and talk with somebody that can help them. It's like, oh, somebody might try to sell me something. Like, how can you say no to that? How could you say no to that? And Jen, just one of the nicest people ever, right? So anyway, if you want to do a sound check, man, this would be like utilize the energy of the beginning of the year. You know, we all have this thing, hey, I'm going to do it now, right? We all do, right?
Right.
Now it's the time. And you know what? Use that energy. Don't let that energy go to waste. Use that energy. So what's the best way for them to do to get that set up, Frank?
It's just go to wantmoreloans.com and someone will chat with you at the main office and walk you through everything. Wantmoreloans.com. And I am going to share something with you really quick, just briefly, just as a quick overview so that we can head on out of here knowing what it is that we want to chat about here
Hey,
or
Frank,
get
as you're
done
bringing
today.
that up, I just want to say one thing about Michael that I love. Whenever, because he's a member, right? Whenever he's having a call reluctance moment, right? He calls in, he talks to me or to Meg, gets a little cheering, gets a little advice, and then makes his calls. He doesn't use that call reluctance to stop. He uses that to
motivate.
and do more. Yeah.
To motivate. Yeah.
Super important. Yeah.
Yeah. So just real briefly before we get out of here, guys, just as a reminder, if you're already in MMA, you're already with us, just a reminder what we do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? Obviously, today is we're working with agents. We have our goal, right? We have our goal. We want to get 3 whales per month, 1 to 2 tunas, 8 to 11 tilapias. If you're not sure what that means, this is based on their level of production, right? Through the daily success plan through Mortgage Marketing Animals, we have the plan on how to get that done. We have the how, right? To meet the why, we have the how. What we do on Tuesdays, don't forget, we call our deals that are in contract. We call it Just Ask Tuesdays. We're talking to the borrower, the co-borrower, listing, selling agent, title reps, insurance people. Wednesdays, past clients. Thursdays are pre-approved and lookings, touch the lead, touch the partner. But here's the thing I want to make sure everybody knows is that these calls mean nothing at all unless you're asking for the business on every single one of them. And we have found and have proven that asking for the business in a cool way, right? In a cool way at the end of every phone call, when you make these calls, drives out just absolutely killer results. The other thing too is that CallStars has been an absolute game changer for everybody who has done it. Everybody who's jumped on CallStars, being part of Mortgage Marketing Animals, right? Just absolutely loves CallStars because it lets you engage the how with your why, right? It's like, how am I going to do this? Well, look, I know a lot of us feel like we're out on a desert island all alone. A lot of us work remotely, we're from home. But even if we are in an office, it doesn't matter. Being connected to a large group of loan officers that are doing the same thing, making their calls, encouraging each other is absolutely a game changer for you. It's going to work tremendous. Make sure you're doing it. And don't forget, we also have a DSP tracker. We have to track our success, track our business, track our calls, track our leads, track all this stuff, because if we don't track, we can't adjust, right? If we do track, we can adjust and we can see exactly what's going on. And of course, I mean, the best way to kick off this year would be, if you have not done this yet, is to get the 90-day fast action plan that Steve Kiles has put together. This thing is absolutely fantastic. It'll show you real simply, in a very, very, very simple way, like, okay, this is my goal, right? I just need to get this many qualified agents in my bucket, man, that I'm working with every single day, and I'll hit my goal. It just bears it all down. So yeah, man, I'm so glad, Carl, that you opened up today with the why, because I hadn't thought about that, but that really is what it is just making sure we've got
Yeah,
our
so
why figured out.
the plan is easy. Again, the data set, what do we do on Monday? So Kelly Corya, what do we do on Mondays?
Should I set trombone first thing?
No, don't you dare.
you
Gotta find
dare.
my
No.
mute button.
So what do we do on
Um,
Mondays?
We're call a Thor's hammer, basically calling all of our agents and the ones that are qualified and trying to see if they have any would like to meet for coffee and also follow up on all of our current realtors.
That's it.
Great.
That's it. Joanne Johansson, what do we do on Tuesdays?
Tuesday's my favorite day. We call the borrower, the co-borrower, listing agent, buying agent, insurance person, title company or attorney, paralegal, ask them for the business, give them an update on the file, and then ask them for the business.
That's it. Brad Atwood, what do we do on Wednesday?
Call our past client database. Usually it's 2 letters of the alphabet every week, so that by the time you've gotten through 13 weeks, you've called everybody, and you do it 4 times a year.
Wonderful.
That's it. And Victoria
Wonderful.
Johnson, do you know what we do on Thursdays by chance, Victoria?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got you. What do we do
Okay,
on
sure.
Thursdays, Victoria?
On Thursdays, we are going to call out pre-approved and looking, and we're also going to send a text out to our realtors to see if there is anybody who needs to be pre-approved for the weekend.
Goodness gracious.
That's the
Carl, it
plan.
just sounded very simple.
It is. And we feel like we have to do all this other stuff. And I'm telling you, it's not about doing 37 different things. It's about doing those 4 things
Right.
over and over and over and over and really well. And those are the winners. Those are the people that win. And so anyway, if you need any help with that, or when you're ready for help with that, we go into detail and do a dry run of what it would sound like, and do it with somebody friendly that can help you with all the scripts. Jen and Kristen, what's that link again, Frank?
WantMoreLoans.com. WantMoreLoans.com. Yeah, no question mark. Just WantMoreLoans.com.
Yeah.
That's where you go. And somebody was asking, can they get the 90-day fast track? If you go to WantMoreLoans.com, get with somebody, they'll give it to you. You'll get it.
Anything you want, just ask for it. Right. That's how this works. Right. So anyway.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that too, Carl, because don't forget, man, we can make a lot of calls, but we got to remember this is for business, and please do not forget to ask for the business. That's one of the sticky points. We went over that last week, guys. If you were hanging out with us last week, is just remember it's okay to ask for the business. It's okay, and it's okay to do it on every call. It's okay to say, hey, before I let you go, don't forget, if you come across any friends, family, coworkers looking to buy, sell, or refi.
You're solving their problems, and when you do the walkthrough call, we'll talk to you about a thing we call the follow-up refer back program, where you're solving their number one problem. People say, yeah, but I need to call the value proposition. We have the best value proposition ever for the producers, and it ain't, I'll give you a hint, it ain't providing them leads.
Yeah.
That's the struggle bunnies. That's the low producing agents. Their biggest problem is they need leads, and that's a real problem with them. That's typically not the people that we get most of our business from, right? You get your business from those agents that are already highly productive. They just don't have a follow-up system in place to follow up with all the leads they get from their open houses and all their call signer rides that the average real estate agent the average top producing real estate agent only closes 5% of their leads. 5%, right? That's a national average. 5% top producing. You solve that problem, you'll be their new best friend. Yeah.
Good stuff. People are asking about the 90-day fast track. Guys, if you're not a mortgage marketing animal member, just go to WantMoreLoans.com. Want More Loans, get your call scheduled. We'll get you the 90-day fast track. It's not a problem. You'll get it. And believe me, you're going to freak out when you do it. It's like, this is so great.
Yeah.
This made it so much more clear for me. And it really makes you understand that, okay, I work the plan. This is my goal when my plan is to get to this place. And when I get to that place, everything's going to come together. And that's exactly how it works.
It's so important that you do not waste the energy that you have at the beginning of the year. You know, you got this spring that's all wound up and it's ready to release. Use it. Like don't, this is a golden moment for you. So whatever you do in your day, make sure that you're putting into action all those things that you know you've been wanting to do, just that holding back. Now, whatever that is, right? Now's the time to do it. Do not waste the energy of the first of the year. It's such a powerful time of the first of the year. It's just we get in this mindset, you know, I'm going to do something different, and now's the time to make it happen. So whatever that is.
Let's point that energy into the plan. You know what I mean? Point it into the plan. People are, if you're already a member, you can get the fast track. Just reach out to the main office. The main office will give you the fast track if you're already a member. Man, oh man. Well, Carl, man, we're so happy that you're okay. That was a little scary, man. A little scary, but we're glad you're okay. And for everybody who showed up here, man, I'm just so glad you're here today. And I hope that whether we're a member or we're not a member, you know, if you're a member, I hope you just really, like Carl said, pour the energy into that beginning of the year energy into the plan, man. Jump on CallStars today and let's get going. If you're not a member, we really hope that you become one. We really do. So, and we would just encourage you to go to wantmoreloans.com and talk to us there. So with that, we'll be back here tomorrow. Loan Officer Breakfast Club, one more time. Come on, man. Let's keep it positive, motivated, uplifting, inspirational. And why would you want to talk to a couple of handsome guys like me and Carl and Steve, right? And Chris. I mean, he's okay. He's Canadian.
Forget my brother Chris.
Yeah, put him in there. Chris is in there too. You know. All right, you guys have a great day, man. Always a pleasure. Congratulations. Happy New Year. We'll see you guys here tomorrow at Loan Officer Breakfast Club, brought to you by the Mortgage Marketing Animals. See you. Bye-bye, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.